Imagine standing in a hall of mirrors, searching for your own reflection. But every mirror shows someone else, someone more successful, more beautiful, more complete. At first, you're confused. Then something subtle happens. You stop looking for yourself and begin trying to become the reflection. This is a glitch. Modern culture has turned identity into a hall of mirrors. We no longer asked who we are. We asked who we should imitate. And once you start noticing it, a disturbing pattern appears. Many of the desires we call our own may have never belonged to us at all. We like to imagine ourselves as the authors of our lives, that our ambitions rise from some deep internal truth. But what if much of what we want was installed there, not by fate, not by instinct, but by imitation? Welcome to the architecture of desire. To understand where we are heading, we must first look at the hardware. The human brain is not a happiness machine. It is a prediction engine. Evolution did not care if you were fulfilled. It only cared if you were persistent. At the center of this persistence is a chemical loop that is currently being exploited at a global scale: dopamine. The modern world fundamentally misreads this molecule. We call it the pleasure chemical. We think it is the reward we feel when we get what we want. But neuroscience reveals a darker reality. Dopamine is not about the feast, it's about the hunt. In a landmark study, researchers discovered that dopamine levels in the brain do not spike when a reward is received. They spike the moment a reward is promised. It is a signal of anticipation. It is a glow that surrounds an object when it's just out of reach. This is the biological glitch. The brain releases its highest surge of motivation while you are in the chase. But the moment you arrive, the moment the car is in the driveway, the promotion is signed, the object is in your hand, the dopamine crashes. The glow vanishes. The new becomes normal. We are biologically programmed for dissatisfaction. Nature designed us to be hungry so that we could keep moving, keep exploring, keep surviving. But in a world of infinite digital stimulation, this hardware has become a trap. We are running on a treadmill that moves faster than we can sprint, chasing a satisfaction that is biologically impossible to maintain. We are not searching for things, we are searching for the next spike. And in a glitched world, that spike is the only currency that matters. If biology provides the fool, psychology provides the map. If you want to enter the secret handshake of high-level thinkers, you must understand the work of René Girard. He saw a pattern in human behavior that most ignore. Man does not know what to want. Unlike animals who are driven by simple instincts, hunger, thirst, sleep, human beings have no internal compass for significance. We don't know what is cool. We don't know what is valuable. We don't know what is worthy of our life's energy. So we look to others. Girard called this mimetic desire. Desire is not a straight line between you and an object. It is a triangle. The subject, that's you. The object, what you think you want. The model, the person who already has it or wants it. You don't want the object, you want the state of being of the model. You don't want the luxury bag because it carries your belongings better. You want it because the model, the person you admire, the person you envy, has marked it as a symbol of status. By acquiring the object, you're attempting to steal their essence. You're trying to become them. Desire is a social contagion. It is a mimetic virus. This is why trends happen. This is why aesthetics move in waves. We are all looking at each other to find out what we should be hungry for. We are all a hall of mirrors reflecting a longing that has no original source. In a glitched world, your envy is not a flaw, it is the operating system. We have built a global infrastructure designed to maximize mimetic tension. Social media is not a communication tool. It is a mimetic accelerator. In the past, your models were limited. You compared yourself to your neighbor, your cousin, the local successful merchant, the triangle was small. Today, the triangle is infinite. Algorithms are the new high priest of desire. They do not simply show you what you like. That is a superficial reading. The algorithm is an archetype installer. It observes your micro behaviors, the half-second pause on a lifestyle video, the way you linger on a certain aesthetic, and it begins to feed you models to imitate. Gradually, a strange pattern emerges. Entire cultures begin orbiting the same small set of identities. The quiet luxury elite, the high-performance founder, the digital nomad seeker, the hyper-aesthetic creator, the self-optimization warrior. In a glitched world, we are no longer discovering who we are. We are selecting from a menu of pre-installed archetypes. This creates a psychological fracture. We are more connected than ever, yet we feel a deep gnawing sense of inadequacy. Why? Because we are all competing for the same narrow slice of significance. We have turned our lives into a performance of identity. We don't buy products, we buy signals. We don't travel for the experience, we travel for the proof. We're consuming narratives to hide the fact that we have no idea who we are outside of what we want. Why does luxury work even when the world is in crisis? Because luxury is the ultimate master of the mimetic triangle. The goal of a luxury brand is not to sell a product. It is to create distance. The model must appear superior. The object must appear just out of reach. If everyone can have it, the mimetic tension disappears. The desire dies. True power in the modern age belongs to those who can create scarcity in an age of abundance. They don't sell utility, they sell validation. They understand that the human brain is willing to suffer, to overpay, and to sacrifice logic if it means closing the gap between the current self and the ideal model. In the glitched world, the brand is the prophecy and the consumer is the believer. We are not purchasing leather and gold. We are purchasing a temporary reprieve from the feeling of being less than. But as we discussed, the dopamine crash is inevitable. The new becomes normal. The gap reopens and the machine demands another sacrifice. We are crossing a threshold. The fractures in our current reality are no longer just visible. They are widening into a new era. This is the moment where the patterns we have decoded suggest a destination we can no longer avoid. In this next era, desire will undergo its most radical transformation in history. It begins with the automation of longing. We are moving toward a world where your digital twin, the version of you that lives in the data, knows your hunger better than you do. As AI transitions from a tool we use to an agent that acts on your behalf, it will no longer wait for you to feel a spark of interest. It will preempt it by analyzing your biometric shifts, your micro-frustrations, and your dopamine lulls. The machine will inject a model into your environment that solves a tension you hadn't even realized you were carrying. You won't choose what you want. You will simply find yourself wanting it. Desire will be administered to us like a pharmaceutical, designed to keep the engine of consumption running without a single moment of friction. But as longing becomes automated, the nature of ownership will begin to change. We are approaching a world where people no longer buy objects. They buy access to identities. In the glitched world, products become symbols within the larger narrative. You won't buy a product. You will buy access to a story about who you are. We may even see the emergence of what could be called identity insurance, where individuals pay a recurring subscription to remain visible within their mimetic circle. The moment you stop paying, the algorithm quietly reduces your signal. Your aesthetic fades from the feed, your status loses visibility. Not because you disappeared, but because the system stopped amplifying you. To lose your objects will no longer be a simple financial loss. It will be a loss of narrative position. Finally, this path leads to the ultimate fracturing of the human core. Society is splitting into a two-tier reality. On one side, the mimetic masses, those fully colonized by the machine. living in a permanent state of reactive, automated longing. They are the ultimate biological fool for the system. On the other side stand the sovereign minds, those who recognize the triangle, the ones who can decode their own hunger. The new power in this era will not belong to those with the most resources, but to those who control the hidden architecture. If you can dictate who the world envies, you control the direction of human energy. You can crash markets or reshape civilizations overnight, not through force, but through a perfectly curated lifestyle. In the future, the most dangerous weapon in the world won't be a missile. It will be an archetype that everyone is programmed to imitate. The pattern is visible, the signals are clear. Desire is the engine of civilization, but it is also its most sophisticated trap. The glitched world thrives on your blindness. It wants you to stay in the chase. It wants you to believe that the next purchase, the next like, the next milestone is the one that will finally silence the dopaminergic ghost in your brain. It won't. The only way to win the game of desire is to see the triangle. You must become the visual decoder of your own life. When you feel that sudden sharp pang of wanting for a new car, a new look, a new life, stop. Ask the question, is this my longing or am I imitating a ghost? Who is the model I'm trying to become? And is that person even real? The future belongs to those who can distinguish their own signal from the cultural noise. Those who recognize that the object is a shadow and the model is a distraction. This is part of the TOMAAS prophecies, cinematic essays that don't just reflect the world, but read between its fractures. Through layered visuals and emotional pattern recognition, we practice prophetism. A new way of seeing. Here, art isn't decoration, it's intel. It translates what we haven't yet learned to name, because by the time everyone understands the shift, it already happened. You can see more of my work at TOMAAS.com.